are live, OGL. How are you, bud?
I am doing fantastic, sir. How are you today?
I'm all right. We are doing the where he can't see me, but we're on better. Well, my words turn the right way this way. So yeah, we're going to come back to the Highwaymen. OGL has already. Oh, we've already shot an intro. Hell with it. OGL has already done this one time. It got blocked, so we're going to go to a live version. So he has only heard it once. Of course, you know Willie Nelson needs no introduction. Everybody wants to get high with Willie. The Man in Black needs no introduction, as maybe his last song was his swan song, possibly, and in a couple different ways there. And Kris Kristofferson, to anyone who was into horror movies, needs no introduction, even in a musical type of way, because of the movie Blade. It's one of the greatest horror movies, or action movies, drama, whatever you want to call it. Although Kris was not the first, Jerry Reed was the first to move off to LA and become a movie star in Smokey and the Bandit. He eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. So, and maybe even before that. I think Charlie Pride may have starred movies. So, all that leaves is Waylon Jennings, who we have done the Way More Blues of Waylon singing this song to Jesse Coulter, who sits right beside him during the singing of, and he explains what the song is about. And if you don't know the second verse to the song, he says he doesn't remember. It could have a concept to it, but he just didn't really remember exactly what it was about. So
I attempted The Highwaymen once. Loved the song. Obviously wasn't able to absorb everything.
We watched the entire tribute to Hank Williams Jr. in 2017 with many artists singing Hank's songs, and he has also seen the tribute I done with Hank Williams Jr., Shooter Jennings, and Jamie Johnson singing tribute songs of Waylon Jennings, who I very. All right, let's do this. Back. So after a little tech issues, of course, we've got the right video, got everything matched up. So it's okay with OGL. We'll get into this. Ready, OGL?
I am so ready.
OGL, have you ever heard Kris Kristofferson sing?
The first time I heard him sing was when I first did the Highwaymen reaction. Other than that, I was completely familiar with him solely through his acting, and I know he's a legendary songwriter. He's a Rhodes Scholar. I think he studied literature. He volunteered for Vietnam. He landed a helicopter in Johnny Cash's front lawn. Is that correct?
Yeah. They've done a few quite funny things with large instruments of travel.
So yeah, I was familiar with a lot of aspects of Kris Kristofferson. He's definitely like a larger than life character. Never heard the dude sing before I heard The Highwaymen.
All right, let's do it.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade, and many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive.
I was a sailor
the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner around the Horn of Mexico. I went aloft to furl the mainsail in a blow. And when the yards broke off, they said that I got killed. But I am living still.
There's a reference in the Bon Jovi song, Blazes of Glory, to the Highwaymen. I don't remember where or how he calls it out, but there's definitely a shout out in that song to this song because there was some wrestling on whether to use this song for that movie.
Okay.
For the same
It would
part
have been
as.
perfect in a lot of ways.
But
Yeah.
Bon Jovi did write that song though for the movie, so it made more sense. But he does give a shout out.
Right. First of all, like just seeing the four of them on stage together, that gave me goosebumps right off the bat. Of course, Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson have since passed away. Just seeing them all on stage, smiling, looking at each other, you can tell they enjoy each other's company personally and musically. That was just a thing of beauty to see. Willie's voice.
Now, did Willie actually
go ahead.
pass away? There's been so many of these. I looked that up the other day, and that was false. The last one I seen about
Willie's still
passing
alive.
away.
He is 90, but Willie, as Willie himself said, I am still alive. Yeah. It's,
Okay. I thought you
Waylon
just said his Willie passed away. There was a thing.
Waylon and Johnny.
No. This is sickening, this thing going around of talking about all the different country music singers that are dead. Alan Jackson and Travis Tritt, none of them's dead. I don't know how they get away with it, but go ahead.
I have no idea. But I was going to say, Willie's voice, it's nasal, and it's very warm, and it's very natural. And I remember thinking this in the original reaction. It's weird hearing those kind of grim lyrics that he was talking about, about killing and all of that stuff in that kind of voice. I love the fact he didn't try to add any superficial toughness or sound like a movie villain or anything like that. He just sounded like a normal dude doing what he felt he needed to do. I like that touch. Kris's voice has like a quiet authority about it. You can tell that is a voice that has lived through a lot of things. You can't teach what Kris has vocally. Neither of the gentlemen that have sung so far, none of them are sustaining a whole lot. Not a whole lot of vibrato going on, but just a lot of very natural sort of speech-based singing that is carried by by their tones and their characters. Like we've always mentioned, or like you've always told me with this style of music, it's all about the storytelling.
Yeah, and again, these are all lyrics that they could have did or very well could have lived. And we promise that, and if you want a song that'll shake you to your soul, with Willie Nelson, 7 Spanish Angels is one of the greatest songs he ever written, wrote, or performed, and there is a version of him and Ray Charles doing it that is just golden. It's just golden. So, comments on the original studio version of this song. We'll go there in a minute. There was a lot of buffering during this song, so if YouTube wants to block this song, I'm going to debate that the song was cut up very many times, plus our pauses. So anyway, I'm going to leave that as part of the song, as you've all heard it so many times, and I wanted to relive it. I wanted OGL to relive it, and that's basically what we've done. So let's hear the 4 parts again.
Along the coach roads I did ride,
sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade, and many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive.
That's just Willie has a way of telling a story without telling it at all. He just has that voice. He has that narrator voice.
Yeah, it's unmistakable.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot in between Willie's speaking voice and his singing voice, and that's not anything bad.
Yeah, he's not performing a textbook of vocal technique. He is doing a clinic in storytelling though. He's a legend for a reason.
There are a lot of
That's why I love
singers
his
that,
take on this word.
yeah, but there are a lot of singers that there's a big difference in their singing and their talking voice. Ozzy being a good example. Axl Rose, when he goes into that crazy registry, Maynard, to hear him sing, you'd never think that man could scream some of the shit he screams. Waylon Jennings, to a certain extent, in that Way More Blues, especially when he was talking, and then he just goes right into his singing voice. But Waylon being one of these, he's probably the one that's further apart from his speaking voice and his singing voice, which isn't that far. So they're all very close to how they talk and how they sing. Not saying they don't put singing technique into it, they do. But
I was tired. I sailed a schooner around the Horn of Mexico. I went aloft to furl the mainsail in a blow. And when the yards broke off, they said that I got killed. But I am living still.
Kris's music career was well before any of his acting career. Not sure exactly how Kris got into the acting. It wasn't any kind of a sellout type of way, and it was fairly early because Hank's first rendition of All My Rowdy Friends Have Settled Down, Kris is there for, and he's a fairly young man. So. But either way, he's an artist, and a great one.
Yeah, most definitely. Even when I first saw, I think it was the original Blade. I think there was someone at work told me, it's like, yeah, Kris has been a songwriter for a long, long time. I think his verse might be the rangiest of all the bats. He'll go high, he'll go low. He'll also add a little subtle vibrato here and there. But again, it's mostly just that fantastic tone. Again, like I said, quiet authority. I thought at first that this song was about like multiple characters throughout history or whatnot, but it's actually originally about a single soul kind of being reincarnated into all of these lives, which all seem to be sort of like working class dudes in very high risk occupations. But again, their death not being the end.
I think it represents kind of like in the Young Guns also. Again, this is before Young Guns, but the way, the Indian, the preppy doctor, the uneducated kid, and the level-headed barkeep who stays behind and ends up becoming the bad guy. And just the whole story of it and the camaraderie between different people and different languages is kind of what we talk about on this channel a lot. They aren't so much different from us as we are them. And this is a great representation of that. You can have a lot of different men on that highway, but who seem very different, as these four characters do. Yet they're not. They're They're as much as they're the same, they're different. So as below, so above type deal. I love it.
They're going their own way, but they're all just trying to get by. Yeah.
The Highwaymen is a good way for this foot the human.
Mm-hmm. Emphasis.
Sorry.
Builder.
I didn't mean to pause you there, Waylon.
That's the highwayman, emphasis on the man.
Yeah.
Humanity.
I was a dam builder. Cross the river deep and wide, where steel and water did collide. Called Boulder on the wild Colorado. I slipped and fell into the wet concrete below. They buried me in that great tomb that knows no sound, but I am still around.
The Hoover Dam built in 49, I believe, or 59. I don't have to look that up. I probably should, because if you want to look that up really quick, I'm pretty sure I'm right. 49. There were many people on that endeavor who lost their life, and they're buried in that gray tombstone where he sang that rather cleverly, where water is still, we're steel and water.
Water did collide.
Because in those days you had to collide from steel and water because it was the number one commodity to keep you alive was the water supply, and which is why the dam was built, ironically. But that steel and water was a great line. I never really caught that till just now.
From 1931 through 1936, the Hoover Dam was constructed.
So maybe 39 is when it opened. I seem to remember a 9 there, but so yeah, it's that was right after the Great Depression. That was right before the World War II. This was the only thing going on before Hank Williams Sr. started making music. And 43, I think. So
I'm glad you mentioned that lyric. The steel and water colliding, because that jumped out to me as well. And then it was immediately followed by what is a very, very dark and disturbing lyric where he says, he talks about falling into the concrete. They buried me in that gray tomb that knows no sound. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is not the way I would want to go. But the way Waylon sings it, again, just that mentality that nothing's, just taking life's inconveniences in stride. I guess even a horrible death like that. I just love the strength in Waylon's voice, even at this age.
It's the same thing you get from no matter how many different people I watch that interview people who are off the grid per se, ancient Mayans, or which there are no more of those truly, but Aboriginal people, the old Hindu people, the ancient, Cherokee here right down the road from me, the true Americans, I don't call them Native Americans, they are the Americans to me. And when you hear these elders or these very much established groups of people, you will hear them speak of these things that are dark and chaotic for us and hard to think about. We try to shelter ourselves from these dark things. You hear all of these ancient cultures talk about them as if they were picking an apple off of the tree. Sure, son, and this happened. These people were tortured and killed, and Mother Earth is going to swallow us up another day, or whatever it may be. It's as a matter of fact type conversation for them, where it seems to be a conversation that will touch some of us and change the way we view certain things forever because of one conversation that was no different to them. A good example would be when Oliver Anthony wrote his song. Well, it was a great song, and it brought up a lot of points that were not surprising to us because we've listened to the same story from many country to rock to even hard rock to even glam rock brought up some of these things well before Mr. Anthony. So it's just whatever you're used to, and I can't see no way, why, how being used to talking about something hard can be in any way worse than keeping it bottled up. But I am only me, and I only see from my point of view, and I don't want to take up any more time on that, but it's a subject that's very, very important to us, and it's something country music had no problem with, which is a big reason I separate country from older and newer. It's not instrumentation, it's not the way they sing, it's the way the new country seems to be edited and what they can talk about and can't talk about. So, yeah, you got anything,
Well said,
Gio? Thank you. Waylon plays the guitar so high from the belly.
I'll fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I will remain, and I'll be back again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
I just noticed that they covered the four elements of life: air, water, earth, and wind.
Yeah, that's true.
Each
true.
man covered a different aspect of it within a very short story. I'd have to go back and triple check that, but I'm pretty sure they just covered those four aspects. That went on to dominate video games and all different kinds of themes. The four horsemen.
When I first reacted to this song, I had just watched Millennium with my mother, which had Kris Kristofferson in it, and it was a movie about time travel. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, these guys probably aren't going to be singing anything about time travel, I'm willing to bet. And then fourth verse, Johnny comes in singing about starships. That really did catch me off guard, but it was awesome. Again, just the next stage of that journey. Johnny's voice, again, still unmistakable. He never lost that substance to a sound, that gravitas. Just honestly, okay, one more quick musical thing. I like how there's the lead guitar is just sort of like filling in space and playing around the guy's vocal lines. It feels very natural. It's very cool. But I just love these guys' interactions on stage. Like would see Johnny pivot to face whoever was singing while I was playing guitar. And you saw Kris Kristofferson while Johnny was singing had the biggest smile on his face. It's just the coolest thing ever. Yeah, this is. I'm definitely glad that you pulled this one out because I'm just loving watching these four guys on stage, and I don't know who's going to fill their shoes, but that's they've got quite the task ahead of them.
Well, you never know. I know Waylon and Hank's been getting a pretty rough conversation about his daddy. I know Johnny is gonna walk the line and then fall off to some bitch and kill a man just to see him die. And Waylon's gonna get punched in the mouth from George Jones. And
That dog died.
Then he's going to have a feud with Merle Haggard, who there's really never been any substantiated claim on why this is, but we all, or a lot of us know who know the game well, that they respect each other very much, yes, but for some reason, Waylon and Merle just never got along that good, which kind of sucked for all the other friends because they all got along very well when they weren't punching each other and sleeping with each other's women. Or, taking each other's manager or band members, or just stealing each other's lyrics, or other than all of that shit, they got along great.
Yeah.
No different than all your friends and family and the loved ones, the ones you ride with, ride or die. I think that the Highwaymen kind of are the originators of that saying. You're gonna ride or die with the Highwaymen that you run with.
Yeah, they walked it like they talked it.
Definitely did.
A lot of talent and a lot of charisma crammed into less than 3 minutes of music.
Yeah, I'd say you got 4 icons right there.
Oh my God, yeah, the definition of the word. Like, that's practically like a Mount Rushmore of country music, like living on stage, performing together. I do love how the crowd, would erupt when each singer did their verse. I thought that was really cool. Just everything about this performance. The song is great. Period. Like, as soon as I heard the song, I downloaded it immediately. It goes on the walking list. But just again, seeing all 4 of them, live on stage, having so much fun together, just being the charismatic individuals that they are, it's a great thing to see.
So I'm seeing Johnny Cash's age here and Waylon's age, and it's a good picture of Johnny. And I could tell you that I'm not sure when this came out, but by their ages,
it was in 1990.
Well, that's right. It was for the, what was it called again? So there's Waylon and his Rhinestones. That's why Carrie Underwood's concert was so cool. Her, what is it? Rhinestones and something. Diamonds and Rhinestones, maybe?
Denim and Rhinestones.
Denim and Rhinestones. That's right. Yeah.
Denim and Rhinestones.
Everything Waylon and Johnny and them ever wore was denim, and Waylon was big on his rhinestones there, as you could see. And so I'm guessing they were all within at least 20 years after this song was written when they're performing this here. So I'm sure the Outlaws is actually not even together when this was performed.
Waylon still looks like the coolest cat in the room.
Yeah. You'd have to ask Johnny about that, but I'm sure neither one of them would admit to it. And Kris would have to say, guys, I'm in Blade. And Willie says, man, I sung some Snoop Dogg. And Ray Charles and some of the, And Willie and Kenny are the two that send to save the Africa. We Are the World.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Willie has sang with Michael Jackson.
That was my first exposure to Willie Nelson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. Trying to think of what Willie's most popular song would be. Oh my God, I would guess On the Road Again. Just can't wait to
remember On the Road Again. I remember him doing Always on My Mind.
Oh yeah, and Georgia, and the 7 Spanish Angels. I think we may do that right now. Mental health is real. Much love to you guys. OGT, OGL, Audi.